Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by, and welcome to the CA Executive Insight Community Webcast. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question-and-answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. I would now like to turn the call over to Manish Parikh. You may begin.
Hello, welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for dialing into today's CA Executive Insight Global User Community Webcast. My name is Manish Parikh. I'm the Vice President of the EI Global User Community. I am accompanied here by our board member, Lynn Richardson, and our CA Committee Manager, Mary Greening. Just a few quick announcements before I introduce the panelists today. As usual, this webcast is being recorded and will be posted on the community archives soon after the webcast has been over, hopefully probably by early next week. One quick announcement is that we have now opened up a EI general discussion category under the CA APM community message board for EI. We will be shutting down the EI community page in about 3 weeks. An email will be communicated out to you all for giving you a brief information on this change soon. It should be coming out pretty soon, hopefully by end of this week or next week. If you have any questions regarding this, reach out to us, any one of us, board members, or Mary. About the webcast today, if you have any questions, please ask us in the Q&A panel in the WebEx and not in the chat window. This presentation probably, not sure, about 30 minutes or so, and then there will be open mic for community members to openly ask questions either via Q&A or via phone. We do appreciate all the activities on the message board. Thank you all for your participation. And now let me introduce the panelists. We have first Lynn Richardson from Intermountain Healthcare, who will present on how effectively to provide IT data to non-IT executive and end users. Followed by his presentation will be Meeta Das. She is the Senior Product Manager for Executive Insight, and she will be talking about introducing CA Executive Insight 2.1. Once again, if you have any questions, please ask in the Q&A panel in the webcast. Lynn and Meeta will answer at the end of the session. Thank you all for participating. I'm going to hand it over to Lynn. Lynn.
Thanks, Manish. And hello, everyone. I'm kind of going back to a presentation that I had the opportunity to present at CA World last year. I was asked to present on how to effectively provide IT data to non-IT executives and to end users. And so how do we kind of bridge a gap between the technical and the non-technical? And so I kind of went back and forth to try and come up with something that would capture the imagination, I guess, and sort of provide a metaphor for that. I'm going to skip through a couple of introduction slides. The introduction, all you need to know about me is my name. I'm Lynn Richardson, and I work in IT for Intermountain Healthcare. And because I work in IT, I tend to kind of stray into non-technical hobbies as a release in my spare time. So we'll skip through introduction. Intermountain Healthcare is a great healthcare company. We're a nonprofit in Salt Lake City, Utah, and you're welcome to visit our website, www.intermountainhealthcare.org, if you'd like to know more about the company I work for. So one of the hobbies that I have is keeping bees, and I've done it for some time. For any out there who keep bees, you probably understand that you build up a fair amount of passion for the hobby. It's very relaxing and quite interesting. Here you see a little picture of honeybees, and this is what their world is like in their hive. They're there on their comb. Inside the hive is where they work and spend much of their time. They build and maintain the comb that you see there. They care for their young, they produce honey, they dance, they defend the hive, and they do a lot more. And they care about all of these things. It's their day-to-day life. It's what's important to them. But when we move to the beekeeper, and we say, well, what does the beekeeper care about? As he thinks about a beehive, his perspective is much different than a honeybee. And probably he's not concerned with the things directly that the honeybees are concerned about. But he is responsible for helping that beehive stay healthy, managing it, and actually his goal is to get some end product out, right? He wants the honey. And so how does a beekeeper get the information that he needs? Well, like all good management, beekeepers have a dashboard. And the dashboard for a beekeeper is interesting. It's the front of the beehive. Now, a beekeeper can take the lid off a beehive and start digging down into the beehive and looking at all of the brood and the baby bees and looking for the queen and how much honey and pollen and really getting into all the details in there. That's very disruptive for the bees and is not really what you want if you're a beehive. So a good beekeeper learns that by looking at the front of the beehive, he can tell how the beehive is doing, if it's healthy, if it's not healthy, if it's bringing in resources, from what direction, if it's properly defending the entrances, if it's under attack by any particular predators. There are a lot of things that one can tell just by looking at the outside of the beehive, and that's really desirable because it is less invasive and disruptive. Now bees, I mentioned that they make the comb that's inside the hive, the wax. They have a little gland on their abdomen, and it secretes wax in little crystals that look like sugar or salt. And it's fascinating, and that's the most important, one of the most important things they do, because everything else they do is built on that infrastructure. All of the comb that they do, everything else comes from that little gland. A beekeeper almost never thinks about that important little gland. Just one example of the difference between what the bees are concerned with and what they do day to day, and what the beekeeper needs to know in order to help the bees, to help keep them at the top of their production. So quite a different perspective. Now we switch, and if you think about it, sometimes working in IT can seem quite similar to a beehive. And the picture there kind of is a joke that draws a similarity, but really IT workers, when we work in information systems, and the lifeblood of the company that we work for flows through our hands on a daily basis. And we touch it, we change it, we store it, we move it. It is what allows companies to live and be vital and produce products and make revenue. And that's what we live in day to day in IT, and we get that. But the challenge is to say to ourselves, of all of the things that we're doing and our perspective and how we understand those things, what does the beekeeper care about? And I think that's the challenge that Executive Insight was sort of built from conception to address. How do we take the things that we're doing and grab metrics that are important to the business and hand those off in an efficient way so that as our executives go about their business to keep our companies and businesses viable in today's world, how do we be efficient and transparent in handing them the data that they need to do that job? And that's really, it's a concept to sort of motivate thought and motivate discussion, but Executive Insight really provides a valuable piece of that equation. And with that, I'll turn the time over to Meeta, and she can give more of a introduction to Executive Insight itself. Meeta?
Great, thank you, Lynn. So good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining this call, and thanks, Lynn, for sharing this wonderful stuff. It was really great. And so that everybody knows, Lynn was one of our beta customers for EI 2.1, and he gave us a lot of great feedback, and we really appreciated that. Well, folks, I'm here to talk about Executive Insight 2.1 release and some of the new capabilities that we are introducing. So the agenda for this presentation is as follows. So I'll be giving a brief introduction to EI. Then we'll be talking about the new features that's being added as part of 2.1 release. And I'll show you a quick demo, and then we'll go for Q&A. So Executive Insight, as most of you know, is our mobile business dashboard product that's really developed to provide CIO and line of business executives a new way to access real-time information about your IT application, your infrastructure, and your business application that really helps the executives drive their business decisions and at a new speed. So we have, we have built this product with 4 key value elements in mind. First one is around mobility, so accessing data real time, anytime, anywhere access to information. Second one is around social collaboration. The third one is around self-service. So why wait when you can do it yourself? And the final one is around IT for the business. So IT metrics transform to business relevant KPIs. It really talks the language of business and not IT. That's a brief introduction about EI, but let's talk about the 2.1 release for which we are here. So our goal for the 2.1 release has been primarily focused on 3 key areas. We wanted to expand value of EI across service assurance portfolio. So to that end, we have added integration to new data sources. We wanted to enhance our web services connector framework, which was really introduced during EI 2.0 release, so that now we'll be able to capture data from more broader data sources. And finally, we want to improve our customer experience with a number of usability enhancements and have added new platform support. So moving on, let's talk about the marquee features. We are introducing Infrastructure Manager CAIM 2.x integration, and now EI will expose infrastructure metrics as well. We are adding support for the latest version of Capacity Manager, which is CCC version 2.3, and we are adding some additional capacity metrics as well. With the new and improved web services connector, we are showcasing how customers can integrate with various marketing and the social media analytics APIs and providers. So with that, executives will really get a fresh APM perspective. They will be able to correlate customer sentiments and perceptions with the state of IT application and services. So they would know how one is impacting the other. And we are really delivering a better customer experience. And as this has always been our focus for Exec Insight. And again, in this release, we have made our mobile interface more responsive, and we have upgraded to the latest Sencha Touch 2.3 UI framework. And we want to stay on the top of all the latest platforms and devices. So now we have support for Apple iOS 7 platform, and we have also ensured that our UI works well on all the new iOS and Android devices, which includes all smartphones, iPads, and all tablets. So let's talk a little bit about our IAM infrastructure management integration. With the new IAM integration, EI will start pulling various infrastructure metrics from CA Performance Center. Now, who will be using this? Someone like, IT Director of Infrastructure team. They can now they'll be able to share IT metrics, information like availability or response time, utilization, etc. They'll be able to share those IT metrics back to business. And like most of the metrics exposed in EI, infrastructure-related IT metrics will now be converted to business KPIs, and it will be exposed in our mobile dashboard. So business users will be exposed to what's been happening in the infrastructure side of the house. And we have seen this, and this has been missing in many organizations. Infrastructure team, they have limited, or sometimes they have no way to share the cost savings, the value adds that they really bring to the business. We will make this possible with this new feature. So let's take a look at how it is done. As with any other connectors, IAM connector can be created and it can be configured within our EI admin interface, and it is dead simple. In the admin screen, you just go to add a new metric connector, then select, you will be seeing a drop down of all the connectors that's available, and you'll be seeing the IAM connector. You click on it and the IAM connector details screen will pop up. Here admins have to enter very limited information, and as you can see here, they just have to enter host name, port number, and ID and password, and they will be done. And instantly EI will start collecting IAM metrics. So this is the first release for our IAM integration. So we have a limited number of metrics that we are really exposing. And also right now, EI supports group level IAM metrics only. So it checks for presence metrics like average availability, CPU utilization, memory utilization, port average utilization, average response time, etc. Now, one of the most interesting enhancements that we are doing in this release is related to our web services connectors. Now we have added OAuth support, which is the open standard for authorization. And this OAuth is really used in most of the publicly available web services and APIs. So with OAuth, we will be able to tap into much richer cloud data sources. We have also extended our connector capability to configure more complex API requests, which comes with multiple metric types. And we have also enhanced our JSON and XML parsing capability. So this really will enable EI to integrate with a lot of data sources and enable you to gather more business metrics. So with the new web service connector, we are really opening access to a lot of new information. And as most of you know, there has been kind of an explosion of public and private APIs, which is primarily driven by all the mobile initiatives that's happening. So EI traditionally is connected to on-prem data sources like APM or SOI or Capacity Manager. But with our API support, it will be able to tap into a lot of data analytics providers who really expose a lot of business relevant data in the cloud. Most of them do it in the cloud, but it could also be done on-prem. So some of the use cases that could be relevant to you would be around, let's say if you're looking for a lot of marketing analytics data around social media campaign impact or site optimization or lead flow. Or it could be around business relevant private APIs if you want to tap into your CRM data or sales data, or if you want to connect into your on-prem backend data sources, or even other operation tools that you may be using. It could be also around public APIs. The ones that we are showcasing right now is with the demo is around social analytics integration. So all the providers who provide social media analytics data, It could be around stock, weather, and so many other information that could be tapped into. So one of the integrations we're talking about is with social media analytics providers like General Sentiments, Cloud, Viral Heat. This delivers a view to the line of business that include application performance together with marketing metrics. So when I say marketing metrics, I'm talking about brand value, customer sentiments, number of customers talking about your product, users talking about a particular topic, or maybe number of tweets, retweets happening, etc. So it really helps measure customer impact for a good and bad IT service delivery. Now, I'm giving so much importance to social data because, social media along with cloud and mobile will really drive our next-gen products and investment. And social CRM, which is really managing customer relations with the social media, is now one of the top investments for many organizations. And when you're talking about Twitter or Facebook, we're not really talking about teenage type stuff, but most of the marketing dollars are going there. So that's why with our Web Service Connector example, we are really showcasing our social analytics integration capability. So we have published documents around how you can integrate with Cloud and another company called General Sentiments. So just to give you a brief background on what these two providers really give you, Cloud Score is a metric that measures an individual or a brand's influence across all the social networks and what sort of impact you have in the social world. It links data from sources like Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, Foursquare, Wikipedia, etc. And the score ranges between 1 to 100, 100 being the best possible score. And if you ask me who are really using this, there are 200,000 plus businesses using Cloud and 400 million plus consumers using it at this point. It's similar to a Net Promoter Score or an NPS score, but for social media CRM. And General Sentiments is again a social analytics company. It delivers insights around how your brand, your product, or your service, or maybe a particular topic is perceived by customers. It interprets all the online conversations and discovers some insights and gives you all those metrics. So to give you a context, let's say you are a bank and you have a glitch in your ATM service. So APM will show all the IT metrics and EI will expose that data. At the same time, we have connectors to General Sentiments, which can show the volume or the number of mentions happening in the web around the ATM issue. It can capture, customer sentiments. Are these mentions mostly negative or it is mixed? So it kind of creates a score ranging from -100 to +100. It will let you know the reach, how many eyeballs is that issue really catching. So you have a good idea about the impact. So this is a great way to understand your impact, the impact for IT on customer perception. And now we are publishing, as I've already mentioned, we have published various Web Service Connector setup examples. That includes Cloud Connector and General Sentiment as well. We are also, with the Web Service Connector, we are publishing how you can directly integrate with CA Cloud Monitor. So CA Cloud Monitor is our synthetic performance monitoring product, which is a SaaS service. And now you'll be with the improved Web Service Connector, you can directly integrate with CA Cloud Monitor from Executive Insight. And you can do a similar integration with NIMSoft, CA NIMSoft as well. And as I mentioned, these documents are available in the CA support site, and they would help you to gain a head start and start using the new connector feature. So I just want to reiterate that these are just few examples, but the connector framework is very powerful, and it can be used to publish data from any data sources, as long as it's exposing data to APIs. And this connector framework really fits into our vision of expanding EI to gather data from more and more business relevant data sources and deliver a rich experience for your execs. So let's move on to our next marquee feature around capacity management. So EI 2.1 supports the latest Capacity Manager version 2.3. And with this, we have resolved some of the past version incompatibilities that was existing between EI and Capacity Manager. And one of the most requested feature for our Capacity Manager integration was for users to obtain additional capacity metrics around server count. So we have included that feature as well in the release. So now, in addition to metrics like efficiency or the percentage of overutilized servers or percentage of underutilized servers, we will have server count. So this will provide greater context to business users. Now they do not just know that say 85% of my servers are underutilized. They also know there are 5,000 of them. And underutilization means wastage. So if 5,000 servers are underutilized, then I would think it has a much higher dollar impact compared to if the number of underutilized servers were, let's say, somewhere around 500. Then I may not bother to take action if the later is true. And just I want to share that, we have heard a lot of feedback from our CA Capacity Manager customers. The capacity team literally struggled to create a high-level report for the management. So some of them used to use tools like PowerPoint or SAS or MS Excel, and a lot of manual effort is wasted to build something meaningful and which is simple to understand for execs. They literally deal with hordes of metrics from Capacity Manager, and they have to calculate very few meaningful metrics that their management really care about. So for those customers and for customers, for folks like you who face similar situation, this integration of Capacity Manager and EI will be a great capability and will add a lot of value. So in addition, we have done a couple of usability enhancements. So Executive Insight detailed view information is now much simpler to understand with a pop-up bubble that provides more details for each data point. So, our users want the information to be more simple, straightforward, and easy to understand. When you are looking at a metric and you touch on any data point, the pop-up bubble will give the exact data value that you are looking at, date, timestamp. And if you're looking at, let's say, a monthly view or a weekly view, the data is not a point value, but is generally aggregated. So this bubble will have information on the kind of aggregation done. Is it a sum or average? And the frequency. And are you looking at a daily average, hourly or weekly average? So execs do not have to go back to IT and ask about each metric or data point. And they know what they're looking at and how it's being calculated. So this will really make the job of IT much easier and make the UI more user-friendly for execs. In addition to the data point, as you may know, we already have another option to get, if they want to get additional information about the data source, there is a separate button that can provide further details on the metadata for that particular metric, how it's being collected, and other parameters will be displayed. So in addition, we have improved our hourly view. It now supports greater granularity of data display. It's now per minute. So hourly view will have more accurate data and it will not average it out. In addition, we have done some minor improvements around the detail view. So if you enter the detail view, you'll see a blue box on the left side that really shows you the metric value. So we have enhanced the look and feel, so it's more obvious to user that they can slide their finger, and in the box there will be more information that will be revealed, information about like delta, percentage change, etc. And we have also added some padding to the top and the bottom of the graphs and have done similar improvements that makes the chart more readable and easier to understand. So with that, I'll give you a quick demo. Let me share my screen. So let me log in as an admin and show you the changes that we have done. The first thing that you'll be doing as an admin is once you enter, you'll be creating different metric connectors. So it's very simple in EI. You just have to add a new metric connector, and as you can see here, we have APM connector, we have a basic connector. The CCC connector is our capacity manager connector. Then we have option for CSV connector, where you can import data from other data sources into a CSV formatted file and can display that in your EI dashboard. And IM connector is the new one that we have added in the release. So as you can see here, we just have to enter 3 parameters, and your IM connector will be up and running. In addition, I'll show you the web service connector improvements that we have done. So this is an example of cloud score, which is really the brand influence score connector. We are calculating the cloud score for CA. So the information that you need to enter is very limited. So you just create a cloud score connector, and cloud publishes it, the API URL. You need to put the URL information here, and definitely need to generate a key to get access to their API. So then in the processing tab, you have to enter the metric means, or the information that's relevant to you, the ones that you want to capture. So in this case, I'm capturing a cloud score, daily, weekly, and monthly change of my brand influence score, and I'll be done. So, and in the UI screen itself, you'll be able to test your connector, and you can see all the return values. If there are any errors, you can have a look at it. You can test the data that's getting returned, results, and everything could be tested right here in the screen. So you can use it as a debugging tool as well. And once you are done, once you're done creating the connector, you can go to the metric tab, and all the metrics that's being collected will be seen here. And from here, it's similar to how it's done for other APM or other connectors. It's kind of acts as a business indicator, and you can do all sorts of things, like you can add an image, or you can assign that particular metric to different categories. You can have in the visualization screen, you can create your default duration. So if you want your users to see a monthly trend instead of hourly view, you can change the default duration. You can update the units. You can modify the data value depending on how you want to display it, and you can choose the different visualization types that we support. We support line, chart, status, and the gauge widget at this point. So this is one example, and let me show you the Cloud Monitor integration as well. So we have, as I already mentioned, Cloud Monitor is our synthetic performance monitoring product. Cloud Monitor team exposes their data through APIs. So if you have a Cloud Monitor login, you can just go and generate your API key, and you need to enter the this API URL, and you have to enter your API key. And if you have created the Cloud Monitors within the Cloud Monitor URL, then you can just enter all the metric names that is relevant to you and that you want to expose in EI, and all your monitors will be displayed here. So in this case, I have monitor for Amazon.com, so I can go to the metric tab, and all the Cloud Monitor metric will be reflected here. So it's very straightforward, and as I mentioned, you can have a similar direct integration with NIMSoft as well. So let's log in as a user and see what would they be seeing. So if you are an admin, you would be seeing all the categories that you have defined. So we have the notion of defining different categories, but as an admin, you'll be seeing all the categories. But if you are if you're a user, the admin could restrict you to a limited set of categories that's of relevance to you. So let's log in as a user. So this is an instance of a retail customer that I've created. So here we have a notion of having a home dashboard where you can favorite your widgets, and you will only see the charts that are of interest to you, that you closely track, and you want to closely monitor every day. Instead, you can also go to a catalog view, which would list down more details for each of the categories. So let me show you the infrastructure dashboards. This is a new dashboard that we are creating with our IAM integration. So this shows all the IAM metrics. So you have information around server response time or server availability, server memory utilization, and all that stuff. And this is the dashboard for our social media analytics integration with the web service connector. So you'll be seeing your customer sentiment. So here my customer sentiment is really at a negative range, and I'm not doing a good job. Similarly, you can see the number of mentions that's happening around your product. You will have a tap on that as well. So these are just two integration to cloud and general sentiments, but it depends on what social media analytics tool you prefer. You can create and add as many metrics as you want. So let's look at the IT operation dashboard, which really shows our capacity manager integration. So you have information around overutilized server count, overutilized servers, underutilized server counts, and all that information. So once you, as I've shown in the presentation, once you click on a data point, you'd have more information about what you are looking at. So let's look at a monthly view. If I see a big spike, and when I tap on it, it would show me that the data point that I'm looking at is a daily average. Or if I'm looking at a quarterly view, it would show me that it's a 3-day average, the data that you're looking at. So for example, if I'm an admin and I'm exposing information to my marketing team, the information that they might care about is they might want to keep a tab on my different channels, how they are performing. So in this case, probably they would want to know a little bit about the performance of mobile channel and online channel. They might be interested in to get a view of all the competitors. So how I am doing with respect to my competitors. Again, we are getting this information from Cloud Monitor. And probably they would definitely be interested in the social media analytics data as well. So as you can see here, you may have many stakeholders with different agendas, but with the breadth of info that EI is capturing, you can really address all their needs with a single tool. So, EI really gives access to real-time data sources from the service assurance solution, like APM or SOI, but the breadth and depth of IT health and performance metrics that it really delivers is unequaled in the industry. And Executive Insight is really designed with a bigger picture in mind. We realize that the integration is a common pain point, so we have designed a zero-pain approach to integration that lets you bring in real-time data from your existing CA investment, and with every release, we are really looking to broaden our scope even further. And we have always focused on 3 things with EI. First is making it as easy and as simple as possible for users. to understand and use the app. Secondly, we want to expand the breadth and depth of data integration, which would enable you to capture more and more business relevant information in a single product. And lastly, we have kept the configuration very flexible, so you can create any charts, any dashboards you like. You can define your own thresholds, you can define your own views, and you can customize it as per your needs. And with EI 2.1 release, again, we have taken this product further in these core goals, and we believe it will definitely add a lot of value to you. So with that, I'm really opening up for any questions that you may have.
As a reminder, if you would like to ask a phone question, press *1 on your telephone keypad. Again, that's *1 to ask a question. And there are currently no phone questions.
Okay, so Mary, if there is no other questions, then maybe you're done.
Yeah. If there's no other questions, then we can close it out. This has been recorded, so we'll be posting it in the Executive Insight message board under Webcast Archive, and we'll also be posting it in the APM Community Webcast Archive in the next 24 hours or so. Thank you for joining, everybody.
Again, thank you for your participation. This concludes today's call. You may now disconnect.